Yo, it's Death for the Cloud Chaser TV, man. We back up in this thing again, you dig? Hey, man, we got some unfortunate news, man, to talk about, man. Rest in peace, man. Kobe Bryant, man, a legend. You know, definitely a legend, man. Yeah, and I appreciate that, my boy. Me more. Yeah, man. Shit's crazy, man. When you told me that, I looked like, wow, this can't be real. This can't be real, you know? But it's just, man, it's tragic that he losing so many people at age young, man. You know, we ain't just talking about like stars and shit. You know what I mean? We ain't talking about just stars, bro. We losing a lot of people. Like I'm sure, like you probably got family members that's what I'm saying that's losing their life at a young age. You know, this shit ain't right, man. Yeah, super serious, bro. I thought it was like, man, Eric Dre Street salute. Yeah, I wish I was, what I'm saying, capping or whatever. Yeah, this the plane crash right here. That's the you see the little arrow from the sky, man. Jasmine, salute. The arrow from the sky basically showing that helicopter falling, man. He was in a helicopter crash, man. This is crazy. Yeah, man. Straight legend. CT final salute. Helicopter crash. Man. Man. Damn, he just had a newborn, man. This is crazy, man. And he just had a newborn, they saying, right? Yeah, I got you. Man, this is crazy. Yeah, they saying that he'll be survived by his wife, Vanessa, and their four daughters. He just had a baby, like a newborn. Wow. That's him out kicking it with his daughter at different NBA games. He been recently spotted out. And then his youngest daughter was just born in June of 2019. You feel me? Ain't even a 1 years old. Damn. On to number two. And remember, everybody been talking about him giving the torch, passing the torch over to LeBron James, man. That was just in the news like recently, past week. Damn, man. He was 41 years of age, man, when he passed, man, today, man. 41 years of age, man. R.I.P., man. For real. Like, damn, Kobe, man. That's a legend, though. Yeah, he put in that work. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Eric. Man, this is wild, though, bro. The story is still developing. They said the helicopter's engine was sputtering before it went down. as you can see from the flames. So before it went down, it was pretty much, starts like sputtering, like, trying to cut off, the engine trying to cut off, I guess, while still in the sky. So just, man, just keep that man, our family, man, because you weren't the only one on that helicopter, man. Yeah, it's a big sad day, man. The Illuminati want your mind and your soul and your body. Mm-hmm. Man, man, man. Shattered, salute. Keisha Person, salute. Yeah, he wasn't the only one on there. Soapbox Heroes, salute, fam. No, what you say? What you say, Moon? R.I.P. Alleged. R.I.P. Coke. Yeah, man. Alleged, for real, man. It's like the game ain't fair. Salute, fam. Yeah, three others. Yeah, see, he not the only one that was on that plane, And it's like on that helicopter. And it's like, damn, man, just imagine right before that thing came down, it was sputtering in the air. So they knew, like, the people that's on board knew, like, damn, we about to lose our life. That alone right there is bugged out, fam. It was four others. They says Kobe Cash famously used helicopters to travel for years, dating back to when he played with the Lakers. He was known for commuting from Newport Beach, California to the Staples Center. Kobe was traveling with at least three other people in his private helicopter when it went down. A fire broke out. Emergency personnel responded, but nobody on board survived. Five people are confirmed dead. We're told Vanessa Bryant was not among those on board. So his wife was not among those on board, man. The person who was the pilot, he definitely gone. And yeah, yep. Nah, his daughters didn't die. They put in a story Kobe is survived by his wife Vanessa and his 4 daughters. So that the daughters and his wife are still alive. Salute Iron Man. Yeah, so his daughters are still alive, man. Yeah, he only 41 years old. Only 41, man. Yo, man. That's why I keep saying, like, something ain't right, man. Like, why is people leaving so early, like, young age? I told you, I just went to my cousin's funeral. He was like 50. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's people leaving at a young age, man. Like, man, it ain't even for no heart attacks and no shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Or it's bugged out, man. So it's like, man, people dying young. It ain't just stars. Like, we looking at stars, leave us with our own eyes. Like, damn, we seeing this shit happening a lot. But at the end of the day, it ain't just them. I'm sure y'all got family members. Shit, like, I would say that it's fortunate if this don't, apply to you. It's very fortunate for you. But a lot of people losing family members right now, young, man. Not to just no violence, just to random shit. Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I hope it wasn't no sacrifice either. You know what I'm saying? Wow. Yeah, salute, Mo. Kobe definitely a GOAT.
The family identified, people just didn't want to believe that it was true. It's so horrifying and so shocking. People looked at it, they looked at it on their phones, and they talked about it, but they just couldn't believe that it could have happened.
Hell
They didn't
yeah.
want to believe that it happened.
I ain't believe it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly how I felt. You don't want to believe it.
Well, you can hear it in your voice. You even mentioned your husband is a huge Lakers fan.
Yeah.
And he's at a loss of words as well.
When our executive producer Mazen called us, I had the phone on speaker, so he heard it and he reacted before I even understood. It didn't connect to me, but David immediately. You're just shocked. But it really does take your breath away. It just really does. I'm looking through Twitter, and stay with us, Eric, if you have anything that you would add to this. But I'm looking through Twitter and I'm seeing so many different tweets from different people. A lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people, as Eric was mentioning, don't know if it's true, wanting to get confirmation that it's true. And people are just looking back at Kobe's social media. This person here, Randy Pritchard, says his last tweet is about showing respect to the player who just passed his career score tally. Let's all be more like Kobe. And this is what Kobe Bryant tweeted, just 16 hours ago, continuing to move the game forward. King James, much respect, my brother. So that's what he was known for. That, the people who looked up to him and who he had respect for had that kind of feeling. And then you've got people, Whoopi Goldberg, you have people, in the industry because he just won that Oscar. We told you about that for his short film that he had, and to see him win that Oscar was amazing. Whoopi Goldberg says, "Rest in peace, Kobe, hero to many, including my grandson, extraordinary athlete, and always kind to me and my family. My deepest condolences to his family." Kobe Bryant leaving behind his family. We have been told by sources, and it's been reported that his wife, Vanessa, was not on that helicopter. He does have 5 daughters. He was known to take one of his oldest daughters to games, and we don't know if she was on board, but certainly that's the terrible fear for a lot of people. His 4 daughters, Gianna, Natalia, Bianca, and he and Vanessa just had a baby last June. Her name is Capri. I feel like I've watched them grow up. I've watched them get bigger and bigger every time they would take a shot into the crowd and show the audience and show them how they keep getting bigger and bigger. And so it's awful to hear about it.
And Eric, in terms of watching Kobe grow up,
first nip, now
this is
Kobe.
something that you got to do.
Crazy.
Lynette got to do. He was drafted when he was 17. He started playing when he was 18. And you got to see so many stages of his personal and his professional life live on television.
Right. I mean, and I think for me, it'll always be about those victory parades that happened after the Lakers won their 5 NBA titles, seeing the whole city come together. Lakers, during those periods of time, they brought the city together. I mean, everybody rallied around the Lakers, and everybody felt proud about it.
It happened in
Kobe
Malibu.
was the crucial part of those titles every single time, and it was a reason to celebrate, for the city to celebrate, and even though the Lakers haven't had the same kind of success recently, you can always be proud when you go to the Staples Center and you look up in the rafters and you see the championship banners that are there, that are hanging there during the Laker game. You see them there, and people feel so proud of that record. And that record was something that Kobe achieved along with the other players, but it was always, mostly about Kobe, because he was such a an important part of the Lakers team when he was number 8, and when he changed his number to number 24. I'm sure that those jerseys, number 8, number 24, to this day, those Laker jerseys are the top-selling NBA jerseys that you can find. I mean, everybody wears them. And that was just a testament to his tremendous achievements as a player.
Eric, when you think about their championship runs, they had the first three-peat, and then they had a little bit of a break. Shaq left, and then they came back for that second run where they were able to grab 2 championships. Which one do you think I would say it was the second run that sort of solidified him as the true leader of that team. Can you talk about which one you think was more impactful?
Well, I mean, I think for Kobe, I mean, from the very beginning, from when he entered the league, he was phenomenal at the age of 17. And you know, he was always a dominant player. And it's hard to look at any one of those particular championships and say, you know, was this better than the next? I just remember the wonderful parades that the city put on. You'd go down Figueroa, the team would be riding on the top of a double-decker bus, and they'd be up there waving at the fans along both sides of the street. And, you know, everybody was most excited to see Kobe up there.
Yeah,
he was always the most popular player on the team.
It was electric. Eric Spillman, thank you so much for giving us your thoughts on this very important day. So we appreciate you taking the time. We're going to go live now to Sam Rubin. He is covering the Grammys. He's there. Sam, I know he's at Staples Center. I know that you have been stunned by this news as well. And people are already, a lot of the people in the industry, stars and celebrities, are talking about this. What are you hearing there?
It's a really extraordinary circumstance, Mark and Lynette. Here we are at LA Live Plaza in the shadow of Staples Center. And what you were supposed to be seeing, people such as myself in tuxedos covering the Grammy Awards, what you're seeing is a gathering memorial, a spontaneous gathering of Laker fans. We talked to a few of them who said they just didn't know where else to go. The proximity directly to Staples is impeded by all the security surrounding the Grammys. So you're going to have an extraordinarily unusual circumstance. This gathering is only going to grow. More and more people who love Kobe so much, and as one fan said, they just didn't know where else to go, are going to come here at Staples. And of course, the Grammys are taking place at Staples. One big question tonight: what will the Grammys do? I imagine they will have to salute Kobe Bryant in some extraordinary way. Of course, the Staples Center, the building where Kobe established himself as this Lakers superstar, and of course, the home of the Grammys tonight. We're going to be here throughout the course of the afternoon. We'll check back with you in a little bit, but in the meantime, just this gathering memorial here at the LA Live Plaza. That fence normally wouldn't be there. It's there because of the Grammy Awards, but these fans are gathering, and I think more and more will. People want to express their feelings about Kobe Bryant and this absolutely shocking news. We'll go back to the two of you now in Hollywood.
Sam, if we can hold you for just one more second, because we've been speaking about his athletic accomplishments, but you know very well that Kobe was breaking into the entertainment industry, and in fact, he was very much there. Can you talk about his transition from the court to essentially the silver screen, if you will?
Very briefly, Mark, yes, he was an Oscar winner. Dear Basketball, an animated film based on an original idea of Kobe's, received an Academy Award. He wanted to do more production work. He was in the process of involving himself in that. Right now, though, I think people are thinking about Kobe Bryant, the basketball player, the Angelino, his love of all things of Southern California. We're going to go here now, but we'll check back with you in a little bit.
Sam, we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, and we'll stay in touch with you while you're there at the Staples Center. Everything changes. Today, as he said, you're expected to be covering the Grammys, and it's all anybody's going to be thinking about and feeling, even at the awards tonight. I think it's going to be really hard to celebrate the industry. It's going to be a very difficult night for them to be celebrating music when we've lost.
And the music entertainment industry very much mixes in with the NBA.
Well, he was known to kind of hang out with the cool kids.
Right.
Like, he was known to, even before he won a Grammy, if you would look at the people that he was having dinner with, or people that, the paparazzi would see him, getting out of a, really nice Rolls Royce, they were entertainers, they were actors, they were movers and shakers in the industry. And so this, his presence in so many different circles
Seems like every blog in the world
is very influential. But again, as I'm going through Twitter, and I'm seeing just regular people who are absolutely broken hearing this. That, they never met him. They maybe never stepped foot in Staples Center.
When I heard
but they're
it, I was
broken
like,
hearing this news.
Do you remember when he was in high school? He took Mandy to the prom. She was one of those R&B singers, I believe.
Right.
But he was so popular that he was able to grab one of the biggest singers in the world, and that was his prom date in high school. So as you mentioned, Wes, where we're talking about, almost definitely something will happen at the Grammys tonight where they're going to pay respect to him.
Kobe been
and one
lit
can only
forever.
imagine the memorial that's growing outside of Staples Center. We continue to talk with the people who've covered the Lakers, who've covered Staples Center, who have covered Kobe. Among them is our own Wendy Birch. And Wendy joins us right now. And Wendy, we know you're a huge sports fan. Can you just give us your reaction initially when you found out the news?
I'm heartbroken because I consider Kobe, he was a friend. I knew Kobe kind of on a personal level. I mean, I'm not going to overstate it. It wasn't like I was, hanging out with him and his wife, Vanessa, although she and I had had a number of, nice, pleasant conversations over the years. But I have to say, as a reporter and as someone who has been in this town,
that was his prom
of course, Kobe is just intertwined with Los Angeles. I mean, it sort of goes hand in hand. But I think my experiences with Kobe have been very unique. The first time that I really covered Kobe, because, again, I wasn't a sports reporter, but a news reporter, was back in 2004. At the time, I was working at KABC, and I was assigned to actually travel to Colorado for Kobe's trial. At the time, he was accused of rape. We know the outcome of that trial. But nonetheless, I really saw Kobe at what I would consider that he would characterize as the lowest point of his professional and personal life. And after that, as the years went on and I continued to report here in Los Angeles and eventually made my way to KTLA, I did have a very unique experience, and that was that I was hired by the Lakers to do some independent work with them and to work with their team and do a day of media training, basically give them kind of an insider's look at how to speak to the cameras and how to get along with reporters. And it was a couple of years after the trial, and I remember this because the team was all called in after a practice to sit down for, this media training moment. And in walks Kobe. Now, Kobe didn't have to attend. Kobe was, at the time, one of the greatest players already in the league and was well established. But he was there. He didn't sit in the back row. He sat front and center. And he did it not because he was just trying to set an example for the other players, but because he believed in the value of being a great communicator. And I think, and I know, as I witnessed Kobe throughout the years, when he spoke to reporters, when he spoke to groups of people, he was one of the most thoughtful men that I had ever seen kind of in the game. His answers were wonderful. They were insightful. And it was nothing that it came across as flippant or, insensitive. He always was very measured in what he had to say. And I have to say, this is a guy, too, that had just such great style. I remember one time I was in the tunnels below Staples Center after a game, and Kobe came out in a suit. And, he's such a handsome man and such a presence. And I turned to him, I'm like, Kobe, you were wearing that suit really well. I'm like, you were like the Joe DiMaggio of basketball. Look at you. You're so elegant. And it's funny when you say the word elegant with a man who is a professional athlete, but I have to believe that Kobe was one of the most elegant players and men that you would ever meet. There was just a light about him. And I think one of my last conversations with Kobe was one of the last games of his career at the Staples Center. He wasn't playing, but he was, I think he was on the DL at that time. But he took the time. He knew that I had had a son, Brady. He took the time to let us go, again, under the tunnels and see him, and he got to meet my son. And that was pretty special. It was really special.
Wendy, we can hear it in your voice. I hear it in Lynette's voice. This is so much more than just a basketball player. You think about your son, right? And I don't even know if your son was born when Kobe was playing, but I can imagine he probably is still a fan of the basketball player, right?
Yeah, no, I made a point that Brady was going to go to a basketball game to see Kobe play. He went to one when he was 3 months old.
Oldest daughter right
I drugged him to one when he was 1, and I think he got to meet Kobe when he was about 2. And,
So it's kind of confusing,
I
but
will
that's
be
what
sure
the news just
to
reported.
tell him the significance of that. But you know what? I don't think I'm going to have to. I think that this is one of those people, one of these players that generations will still know and love, even if they never saw him play. It's such a sad and shocking day. And by the way, too, just on a side note, I had breakfast this morning with someone who works with CBS, an executive there, and she says that the Grammys will definitely be scrambling, and those producers are working right now to try to figure out how to appropriately incorporate this. And, it's not the first time, too, that the Grammys have had something happen the day of or within the hours before the performance. You remember years ago, Whitney Houston died just really hours before the Grammys. So, not that history is repeating itself in that way, but to a degree, you have another really significant death in the entertainment industry happening moments before this major award show. So there will be definitely things happening with our friends at CBS trying to figure out how to appropriately handle the award show tonight.
Wendy Birch, thank you for calling in today. We appreciate your perspective. As we continue to follow this terrible news, we are getting information that continues to trickle in, and it's some of the worst information that we don't want to talk about because, it's been everybody's fear that one of his daughters may have been on that helicopter, and there have been reports from several outlets, including TMZ, that his oldest daughter, Gianna, was in that helicopter with him. That has not been confirmed by authorities. We know that there will be a news conference that will be held at 2 o'clock today, but there have been a number of reports saying Gianna was on that helicopter with her dad. And as we talked about earlier, he would take her with him in the helicopter to go to basketball games because she loved basketball. She's a basketball star already, and they were known to do that. There's video that you would see of them together where he'd be talking about the game and she'd be listening. I mean, can you imagine sitting next to Kobe Bryant, who just happens to be your dad, at the most amazing game ever? And so she was by his side often on the court at those games, and there are reports that she was also on that helicopter, that they may have been going to a game. I think we're being told that Gianna is actually his second oldest daughter. So he's got 4, Gianna, Natalia, Bianca, and their newborn Capri. We are being told that it was Gianna that was on that helicopter with her dad. The other identities of the other three people have not been revealed yet. But we'll continue to get that information as more news continues to come into our newsroom, and just feel really awful about having to bring such terrible information out to you.
I do believe, and if you can correct me if I'm wrong, that was the daughter that he recently took to the Lakers game, and he went viral for essentially teaching her the Mamba mentality. He said, this is how you plan the game, this is how you play it, and you just knew that she was a piece of him. She was picking up everything that she was saying.
This is crazy, bro.
It breaks my heart, just picturing that image in my head.
I'm seeing it over and over again,
right.
Absolutely. And you could see that she was mesmerized by him and what he was telling her. She was listening to every single word that he had to say, and many people saw that. The cameras always captured him and Vanessa courtside, captured him with his family. They were everything. So it's not surprising that his daughter is a superstar and loved basketball. We're going to go live now to an eyewitness who saw exactly what happened. Can you introduce yourself and tell us what you saw, sir? I think we've lost.
Did you hear them?
There you go. Hello there. This is Lynette and Mark from KTLA. You saw what happened. Can you tell us what you saw?
Hear anything? I hear it now. What did you see? What did you see? Tell me what you saw.
I heard everything.
Tell me what you heard with the crash.
What did you hear this morning? This morning at 9:45, I just came out and finished my setup for the church services, and a helicopter came from behind me, probably across the freeway at Lost Hills. It was in a slow hover. The cloud deck was very low, probably 300 or 400 feet above ground level. The helicopter slowed down. I could hear it directly above me, looking straight up, but I couldn't see it. So it was probably moving maybe 5 knots, searching around, maybe trying to spot a landing. I listened to it and went directly east over the Las Virgenes Water District. And 15 to 20 seconds later, I heard an impact, crunching fiberglass, and the road was just immediately stopped within a half a second.
As we were talking about Kobe and his second oldest daughter, and we don't know these people, obviously, but you see them so much, and they share so much of their lives with us on social media, so you feel like you know them, and one really does have to think about his wife, Vanessa.
Right.
We were just talking about her this morning on an unrelated topic, but she has 4 beautiful children, and she had to live a very public life being married to Kobe Bryant. We know there was a point where their marriage almost ended, but in life, as it goes, there are difficult situations, and she was able to forgive. And they really are such a beautiful family. So one has to think of the terror that is going through her life at this hour. Not only losing the man who she loves, the father of her children, but again, those reports right now that possibly his second oldest daughter was in that helicopter with him when it went down.
His oldest daughter is Natalia. I believe she's 17 years old. Gianna is 13 years old. And then Bianca and Capri. If we could take the iPad here on the desk, I want to read to you the statement from Mayor Eric Garcetti. I'm going to read you just a little bit of it, but he says, Kobe Bryant was a giant who inspired, amazed, and thrilled people everywhere with his incomparable skill on the court and awed us with his intellect and humility as a father, a husband, creative genius, and ambassador for the game that he loved. He will live forever in the heart of Los Angeles and will be remembered through the ages as one of our greatest heroes. This is a moment that leaves us struggling to find words that express the magnitude of shock and sorrow we are all feeling right now. And I am keeping Kobe's entire family in my prayers at this time of unimaginable grief. From Mayor Eric Garcetti.
Are we able to take the other iPad? Is that possible? What we've been doing, at least over the course of since we got the news, is I've been on social media, and celebrities, in addition to everyone reacting to Kobe's news, are expressing their thoughts and their gratitude to Kobe Bryant. Justin Bieber posting this to Instagram a short time ago. He writes, "It can't be. You always encouraged me, Mamba." Mamba is what Kobe was known as, the Mamba mentality, as we say. "Gave me some of the best quotes that we smile about to this day. Love you, man." This right here from actor Rob Lowe. He writes, "There are no words today." That's a picture of Rob, obviously, and his son with Kobe at a Dodgers game. It shows how involved Kobe was in the community. This right here from Snoop Dogg. Snoop is obviously a huge basketball fan, a huge Lakers fan. He wrote, "My heart is broken, sending prayers to Vanessa and the kids." And he also wrote, "There will never be another." And he wrote 24 and 8. It's difficult to see it because of our graphic right there, but obviously 24/8 in reference to the 2 numbers that he wore while representing the purple and gold. And you just mentioned Mayor Eric Garcetti, the message he sent out. There's the tweet right there. And you can see the photo that he posted. The comments are going to continue to come in, not only from people here, but also athletes as well.
Yeah, it's amazing to see how quickly people really want to get out there because they know what he meant to people. And I'm compelled to scroll through Twitter and Instagram to see what people are saying. Brett Favre saying incredibly sad news about Kobe Bryant, prayers and condolences to his family. This is from Brett Favre. Again, there's so many. We'll continue to show them and let you know exactly what's happening. We're hearing from so many people. TMZ has been reporting from the beginning on this, and a lot of other outlets have been reporting. We do know that there were 5 people on that helicopter. It was Kobe's personal helicopter that he used for transportation from Newport Beach to wherever he was going. We have not gotten any official word. They have not held a news conference yet. That's going to happen in about an hour at the scene. But there have been many reports, obviously, that are confirming that Kobe was on board. There are new reports that his daughter Gianna was on board. No reports of who the other 3 people are.
Gianna.
But that news is going to come out, and I think that's kind of what everybody's holding their breath about, not knowing who those other 3 people were. All 5 people on board that helicopter died.
We do have 2 images that we're bringing you, of course, but on the left right there is what's left of the wreck that happened. So if you are just joining us, this all started close to about 10 o'clock this morning. It was in Malibu, close to the Calabasas area. So you know this area. It's Highway 101. You take the Las Virgenes exit. If you're someone that's moving southbound, you take a right. If you're moving northbound, you take a left, and that'll send you up Las Virgenes, right at Willow Glen. So if you're familiar with this area, you know it's near areas like Wright Middle School, and there's a popular dog park. But again, 5 people were inside getting reports that they were headed to some sort of a basketball academy.
Right. There are reports
That's what
that they were going to the
reporting, but they don't
Mamba
want to confirm it
Academy,
just yet.
which and she had basketball practice at the academy, which is in nearby Thousand Oaks. And you know, if you follow the family, you do know that he would call affectionately Gianni, who called her GiGi. She was the daughter known as GiGi, and she was often by his side. So she was going to the academy. That's, you know, if you can go to your dad's Mamba Academy, you're very lucky to be there. And she took pride in sitting next to her dad at these games and being by his side as much as possible. And that's what they were doing today.
We also continue to stand by, obviously,
Yeah, that's a
waiting
big
word
fact,
from the
man.
Buss family, Jeannie Buss, the owner of the Lakers. They're obviously devastated by this news, so we continue to stand by and see how it is that they're going to speak to Laker Nation. In addition to that, curious to see what Magic Johnson has to say. And also LeBron James. It was a big night. It's a historic night in the NBA last night. LeBron James last night just passed Kobe Bryant
Go ahead.
to become the third highest scoring NBA player of all time. And you talk about the man that Kobe's become. He was so competitive, but he was so honored, you could tell, that LeBron James was able to reach that feat. And LeBron's going to continue to grow. And we also stand by. We want to know where LeBron was when he got the news. This is now his town, and he took it over from Kobe. And it's a huge part of who the Lakers are, what Laker Nation is all about. And as we saw with Sam Rubin earlier, there is a big crowd that is starting to gather outside of Staples Center at LA Live. It's a big night, of course, in the entertainment industry because of the Grammys. But again, so many folks are now focusing outside of Staples Center as they work to pay their respects to what Eric Spillman said, one of the greatest basketball players to ever live.
And one of the other legendary basketball players, Bill Russell, who you would know was a former professional player as well with the Celtics and the NBA, a five-time NBA Most Valuable Player. And he took to Twitter today to say this: Janine and I are absolutely shocked to hear of the loss of one of my favorite people and one of the best basketball minds in the history of the game. Our hearts and prayers to Vanessa and his girls. Kobe Bryant, you were my biggest fan, but I was yours. So that's from Bill Russell. And if you know anything about basketball, you know about Bill Russell. And so when you look at that picture, you know, what a beautiful picture of two legends. And they admired each other, and that says a lot, right?
It sounds like the news people want to talk.
So as we continue to scroll through some of these comments, we're trying to get the perspective from people who knew him, who knew a part of him that we didn't. We knew so much, but we all know that that's just the stuff on the surface. So we're going to hear and see a lot more about Kobe Bryant as more and more people want to share their grief and their experiences with him.
Is there a game that you can think about that sort of sparks a memory, makes you smile? Is there a moment that you can think about when you think about who Kobe Bryant was and what he did for the city?
I think it's very similar to what Eric talked about, because I guess I hadn't been here that long. I don't know how long I'd been. I don't even remember the years of the parades when they took one of the championships, and I was out on the street, you know, reporting, and couldn't wait for that double-decker bus to come by, and you couldn't even hear the crowd before you would feel the crowd before you could hear it, because they were screaming so loud. The cement was just vibrating with excitement, and as Eric said, when you got a glimpse of Kobe Bryant, that was everything. And that's what they were waiting for, just a glimpse of him. And he was so happy. He was out of his mind, happy and excited and wanting to share it with the fans. And that's one of the things when you talk about an amazing basketball player like he was, nothing made him happier than the fans that knew him and loved him and respected him. And it's not easy. What he was doing was not easy, because the fans, you know, when he didn't get it right, they made sure to tell him. And so there's a love-hate relationship there so often. But for him, the fans were everything. And you could just see him light up when he'd be able to get a glimpse of them. And that crowd just went wild. So I'll always think of that and knowing just to be part of history. That was history.
No, it sounds like she about to cry.
I think it was, I can't remember if it was 2005, 6, or 7, but Shaq was off the team. They were playing the Phoenix Suns, and Steve Nash was on that team, and they were an incredible basketball team, and it was really difficult for the Lakers to beat them because they just weren't stacked. But I remember, I think it was Game 5, and there was like 7 seconds left on the clock. He had the ball, and you just knew. You knew the ball was going in. and he made a last-second buzzer-beating shot. They ended up losing the series, but that shot, I'll never forget it, because the conviction, the way he shot the ball, his confidence, the way he sort of took that second run, that second team, and put it on his back, that's what's going to certainly resonate with me as I remember some of the great moments that he had. And it's incredible. He lived up to some pretty incredible expectations. Of course, he had to follow in the footsteps of Michael Jordan. And when you think about basketball, does it get bigger than Michael Jordan? And he didn't reach the same number of titles. Certainly he could have, based on who they could and couldn't bring to the team at the time. But, even Michael Jordan said Kobe Bryant, among the top 3 to ever play the game.
Yeah, because it's L.A., y'all.
Yeah, I think that's what's really interesting when you think about the other legends and how they revered him as well. And to have that mutual respect was so important. As I'm reading through all of the things that he has done, when you just look at the long list, knowing that he was an 18-time All-Star, a 15-time member of the All-NBA team, a 12-time member of the All-Defensive team. He was the NBA's most valuable player in 2008, regarded as one of the greatest in basketball of all time. He led the NBA in scoring during 2 seasons, ranks 4th on the league's all-time regular season scoring.
See, they got
the
that
list
money,
just goes
huh?
on and on and on. Being the youngest ever drafted, he played his entire career
TMZ got that money.
in Los Angeles, and that's why when you think about LA basketball, you think about Kobe Bryant. There's no separating that. And to know that we've watched him grow up. We were there when he married Vanessa. That was in 2001.
Yeah, R.I.P. a GOAT.
Were killed. So we just wanted to update you with that information, but the president is aware, and it shows you how big of a person Kobe was. The fact that the commander-in-chief, the most powerful person in the world, is essentially honoring this basketball great by sending out this message. I'm sure we're going to be hearing more, not only from President Trump, but some of the leaders that work in the nation's capital as well.
What about you, Mark? Do you have any memories of reporting on him or the Lakers or fans? Oftentimes we're sent to talk to fans, and boy, fans have a lot of things to say about Kobe Bryant.
I think it's the respect that you were talking about. Kobe Bryant went to a Lakers game the other week, and I saw the video, and when he walked onto the court, it wasn't center court, but he walked along the side. I think him and LeBron James had a handshake. Everyone in the room was looking at it. All the cameras were pointed in that direction because, and he didn't demand it. He earned it. He was the most famous man in Los Angeles, you could say, at least from an athletic standpoint. Who Kobe was, I didn't know about